Hello. So today I want to talk about joint keys or joint conditions in Looker Studio. Specifically want to talk about left join, right join, inner join, and full auto join. These are all joint keys or joint conditions that are frequently used. Probably I use full auto join the most often because it's the best in terms of it's like a secure method. I think the only thing is you also have to put other metrics or other conditions in place to ensure that it actually works how you intend it to work. But anyway, let's just jump into it and let me explain the left join as a first one. So as you can see in my screen here, we are in a Looker Studio. We have two tables here. One is a Google Ads or is pulling data from a fake Google Ads sample data. And we got this here one, which is meta data. We got impressions here from Meta. So the right one is the Meta one, the left one is the Google table. So what we want to do here now is we want to join them, right? So how you do it, the easiest way, I would say, you select this one, you hold the command key, or maybe on a Mac, I don't know, control maybe on the Mac, on the Microsoft. Um, you select the second one, then you press the right mouse. Oops, that didn't show up. Oops, maybe I didn't select both. Select both, right side. Nope, it doesn't show up. Let's do this again. Yeah, the right mouse. Sometimes I've seen that before. It doesn't actually come up then initially. Anyway, down here you got this blend data option. So that's what we want. We select it. As you can see, it's populating a third table now. Pulling the data shows impressions from this table here and impressions from this table here as well. It's just like how it did it automatically. It's not correct, of course, so we have to clean that up. So this should actually have the date in here. And now we got day and impressions. So now let's look at the join key. Let's go and so what did I do? So I clicked on it, then I went to blend the data, and as you can see here now, let me actually almost want to remove that, but yeah, let's just keep it here over here. So as you can see here, we got this joint key, and it's a left outer join. Which is okay, meaning we are looking at the left table, right? As you can see here, we got left and we got right. So as you can see here, it seems like the system wants to prioritize the left column, right? The right one is not that important. The left one is really important. We will use a joint key, which will be day or date. Um, we will do that due to several reasons, because first of all we want to look at the date in here, like let's say 1st May, and we want to look up the same date here, 1st May, and then we want to join, for example, the impressions in our example together, right? So that why the day instance or the day dimension makes most sense to join. So that's how you do it. So it's left outer join. What does it mean though? Okay, let's go into that a little bit further. So let's close that. So what does that mean? We're now telling our report here, or our blended data source, look into this left table here, look at all the dates here, right? From 6th May down to 21st May, and then look at the impressions, right? Take this data and populate it in here. Now, if 6th May, for example, has another table, like in a blended data source, we are blending both, right? This table with this one here. Look also into this table and look if you can find an instance with 6th May. And if you can find that, then combine them together. That's what we want to get it to, right? We want the 6th May, that's the joint key. The joint key here is 6th May, right? It's the date, it's our join. And now we have to tell the system what it should do with the impressions. So we wanted to actually, populate down here the total impressions, right? But the system, as you can see here, so let's just sort this by date so it's easier to see. Day ascending. So 6th May. So we want this number here to be this plus this, but it doesn't do it. So we have to tell the system, right? The only thing that we actually telling our left outer join is that we want to blend or use a joint key, which is the 6th May, the 7th May, etc., etc. And we always, when we do a left join, say that this is the strong table, this is the superior one to this one, and all the dates in here are important. and we have to populate them in here. As you can see down here, it did it 100% right. It knows now we're saying the left table is the stronger one, so populate the dates from the left table, which it did 6th May down to 21st May. Let's check that, 21st. If it would have been a right join, it would have taken different dates, 1st May to 31st, but we told it should be a left join. So the issue that we're facing now is we want to get this impression number up to the total, right? From 6th May Google data plus 6th May metadata. So basically, only thing you have to do, you click here onto impressions, you scroll down to add fields, you select this, and basically you just tell it what you want to see. So impressions plus impressions is the total impressions, right? So you could say impressions or whatever, apply, and now this should add up. Yep. So it takes 13,000 plus 39,000 is 52,000, 53,000 something. 7th May does the same thing. It's 17,000 plus 37,000 is 54, 55, 55,000. Yeah. So that's correct, right? So that's actually the left join. It's pretty simple. The only thing, the only instant or the only really different or the only really important thing to know here is that it just takes the dates from 6th May till 21st, right? So it follows the dates 20 May, 21st May, on the left table, it takes the dates from here and it disregards these dates. So from 1st May till 5th May, it doesn't care about it, right? Because it's left join. And it also doesn't care about these dates down here from 22nd, 23rd, down here, 30th and 31st May. Okay, that's the left join. Now let's jump into the right join in this case. Okay, let's do a right outer, just change it within here. So what we're saying now is instead of the left table being the stronger table, it is the right one now, the meta table. So let's see what happens here. Let's populate that. Let's save it, sorry. Oh, okay. First of all, what should happen? As mentioned before, the right join, the right outer join now is the stronger table. So all the dates from this table should be populated down here. And we don't really care about these dates. We do care if we find a match, right? So if we have 1st May and we find a match here of 1st May, then we will sum them up. We will sum the impressions together. But in this case, we don't have 1st May in this one, right? We don't have 2nd May, 3rd May, blah, 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 etc. So in essence, down in this table here, we should see all the dates from 1st May till 31st May. And furthermore, we should see the option, or not yet, but in terms of our impressions level, we should be able to add the impressions from this table with the impressions from this table here for 1st May, 1st May, 2nd May, 2nd May, even though there's nothing, right? So this should be actually zeros, kind of, right? 0 plus this should be in this table here. But let's see what happens here now, because there's like a little bit a error. As you can see here, as I just said, we want to have actually 1st May, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th May displayed as these values here, right? 16,718 plus 0, because there's no impressions here, is 16,718. 35,000 plus 0 from this table here is 35,233, etc., etc. But what we can see here now is null values. So the issue here is because we are missing some dates in this table, Looker Studio is not able actually to kind of say, aha, 1st May, 2nd May, 3rd May, they should just be null values. And, just calculate it in this way. It just doesn't do it. It kind of says like, aha, there's no date here, but we want to actually include this date here as well. We first of all look at this dates, of course, in the right join, but we still want to have this dates if we can have them. So it looks into that, but it can't find a proper matching here, and then it defaults to null or an error. It's kind of like an error message, which we have to sort out in Looker Studio. So you have to actually fix it, so to speak. So we could go in here again, and what we have to do now is if null, right? We're saying if there's a null, then treat it as a 0, like treat impressions as a 0, correct? And furthermore, we're saying if this part is a null, then treat this as a 0, and that should be now a green tick. Yeah, so that works. So as you can see, that actually is something that we have to tell Looker Studio because it can't know it without us telling it. There's also an issue on not a specific case here. So let's just copy this here. Let's just copy it twice here. So what I'm going to do here now is, for example, if I wanted to, just have if null impressions and plus impressions, comma 0. So change the equation, it wouldn't work. So let's just do that real quickly. So we're saying impressions plus impressions should be 0, right? So if null impressions and impressions here is a null, then default to a 0. So what we can see here is it throws an error. This has to do with the fact that this if null condition has to be applied on a metric level. So you have to apply it on this metric, and you have to apply it on this metric as well. So now going back to it again, this should be fine, right? If null, yeah, that's fine now. Now we are just facing the issue because we have it twice in here. So I have to actually get rid of this and just leave the upper one, which is anyway correct. So, okay, so now we can apply that. Let's apply it and see down here what's changing. As you can see, numbers changed. First May, it now displays the impressions from this one. Second May, it displays it as well, and so on. Third, fourth, fifth. And on the 6th May, it will add them together. 39,000 plus 13,000 is 53,000. 55,000 for 7th May, 37 plus 17, 55. So that's sorted this. So basically, that's actually how the right join then works. There's actually not more to that. It's actually pretty simple if you know how to do it, like always. So let's go into this again and let's look at the inner join. What does the inner join do? Okay, let's change that. What I actually forgot to tell or say is, even when you apply one of these conditions, you can see here it actually says what it does. Returns matching rows from the left tables plus non-matching rows from the right table, right? So basically what it's saying is, if a row is matching on the left table for the right join, yeah, okay, then you know um then actually use that, yeah, return them, but only if they're matching to my right, like to the right table, right? Plus non-matching rows from the right table. So they don't have to match on the right side, right? It doesn't matter. On the right side, you can always take everything. But on the left side, these rows, they have to match. If they don't match to the right table, then to the right dates in our case, because that's the joint key, then it will never work. And for the left outer one, it's just vice versa. For the inner join now, it says returns only matching rows from the left and right tables, which is quite self-explanatory, I guess. So basically what it does is it takes only the dates that have a match between both tables. So first May wouldn't have a match between both, second wouldn't have one, third one, fourth, fifth wouldn't have a match, but 6th May would have a match. So we should actually see a match here on the 6th May. So there's issue. Let's just change it today again. On the 6th May, as you can see, we can see our data coming through from the 6th May till 21st, which makes sense because that's the only matches that we have date-wise. We don't have a match on the 31st May because we don't have a 31st May date in here. So going up here again, 6th May looks good, 21st May looks good, 53,000, 55,000, it adds them all together. So all good here, right? That's the inner join. Now let's have a look at the full outer join as the last one. So full outer join, okay. The good thing about it, first of all, is it auto-populates, or it keeps these metrics in here. So we don't have to do it again, right? And now what's saying here is saying returns all rows from the left tables and right table, whether they match or not, okay? So what does that mean? It basically means is that based on our joint key that we have selected, right, is the day or the date, it should look into this table, and it should look into the right table, and it should display all available dates that we have there, right? And that's actually really good to know, right? So if you want to show the accumulated impressions across both, and you want to have all the dates in there, then this is quite a nice function to use. Of course, you could use the left join or the right outer join as well, but I actually prefer using this one because it's almost like a catch it all. I feel like the condition itself, the only thing is that you have to do is you have to tweak the condition a little bit or the formulas. So if I save this now and go out of here, close it, let's have a look at that. So first of all, impressions. So we immediately spot this here, this null thing. But before we do that, actually, let's look at the 6th May. So we told the system, look at 6th May, look at 6th May here. If you can find a match, then sum them up. Did it do that? It did it. It summed them up here, as we can see, right? 53,000. Let's look at 7th May, 55,000. Yeah, so that's working. Let's look further down, 21st May, working as well. Now, there are a few issues though. First of all, we said as per definition of the full outer join, we should be seeing all the dates, right? You look at this table here, look for the dates. If you can't, if you don't find all of them, or not even like that, even, it just looks at this table, it checks all the dates here, it looks at all the dates here, and then adds them all up in one table, which is a cool feature to have. But in this case, it doesn't do it, right? So it doesn't actually add up all the numbers in this dates all the dates, I mean, in this table here. So what is happening here? We see this weird null thing, null value, which we have seen before, right? For the metrics, right? We had that down here for the impressions, and then we added this if null, then treat it as a zero, right? So what basically is happening here now, the same thing happens, but it's not happening on a metric level. These are metrics, right? Impressions. It's happening on the day, on the date level, right? It's now the dimension that we're looking at, and it also throws that error, so to speak, right? So what happens here basically is the system. So let's look at this. So first of all, why does it use day one? Like the dates from this table, that has to do with this here, right? So day table one. We could also switch that to day table two. That should be down here. So table two, as you can see here, table two, day, right? And then this should actually populate all the dates from the right table, which basically would show all the dates, and then you could add them up, and then you should also see the right solution, right? But let's say you don't select this date range, like this day, um, table two, but you select the dates from table one, right? So let's go back here. Where's the day here? Let's just do that. Let's go back in there. Okay. Up. Let's do it this way. Where's my day? Day. Here. Okay, day, right? So it again takes it from the left table, which we don't want. So the issue here is we basically want to display all the dates, right? But we are not doing it by just looking at the dates from the left table. So we have to find a way to kind of, look at both. So to merge them kind of. So the easiest way of doing that is using the Coalesce function. There's actually more to it because let me explain. First of all, so this one here is using, why is that doing? Because I changed it up here. Oh, what did I do here? Did I change it here? Weird. So let's go in here, day, table one, day, right? So that's what we want to see is, right? So it's kind of like a little bit counterintuitive, right? Because you almost think like we have applied this full outer join condition. Why does it not just go in there, grab this date and grab this date? First of all, it doesn't do it because we are telling it actually to just look at this dates, right? And then when it looks at these dates, these other dates, it doesn't know where it should accumulate them to, right? Like where should it put them to? It knows it has values here, like from 1st till 5th, and then from 22nd down here, but it doesn't know where to put them here, so it puts them in this here, in this state here, null, and it accumulates all the impressions to it. But we want to see the impressions per day, right? So what we have to do is we have to get rid of this null, right? And the best way of doing that, so we couldn't do it like in this way. We couldn't use a function like that saying if the date is null, then put a zero there, right? Which doesn't make sense, right? Otherwise, you have a zero here. And actually, if you tried, you couldn't even do it on the dimension level because you can't mix dimensions with metrics. But if you could, it wouldn't even make sense doing that. You could also not do something like if date is null, then default to date. That's also not possible actually on a dimension level. So the only way of actually doing that is to tell the system, because it's we know from this table we can see that it actually looks at both tables, right? It does that because otherwise it wouldn't actually display this null value here. The only issue is that we're having is we have to split it out by date. And the best way to do that is with the Coalesce function. So if you go in here, you click on this, you add a field again, but we do it on the day level now. And then we're using Coalesce, LES, as you can see, populates already Coalesce with a bracket. So then you go in here and say day table one. So we're kind of like combining them almost, like telling the system, look at both, and there's a day actually applicable to each of them. So we're going in there, um, going into table two, um, rename that to day or date maybe, and apply that. So what we can see here now, as you can see, it fixed Asia. So 1st May, we got our date now in here, and we got our value here. 2nd May, 35,000, 3rd May, 38,000. And that fixed the whole thing. And that's how the coalesce function works. You can read up on that a little bit further. It takes the first non-null value and populates it here. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's not really more to say than that. As you can see, it adds up everything correctly. This impressions 365 plus 1,283,000 is this number down here, and it works perfectly fine. That's all there's to say. I hope that was helpful. Have a good day.